They don't know nothing. Why is this sentence incorrect? In today's lesson, I will explain to you why this sentence is incorrect as we talk about double negatives. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Know Your English Grammar, where learning English becomes easy. If you have not as yet subscribed, please do so now as I continue to bring you insightful English grammar lessons to improve your knowledge of English. What are double negatives? Double negatives occur when two negative words are used together in the same sentence. In English grammar, this is grammatically incorrect. Two negative words used together in a sentence cancels each other out, turning that message into a positive one, which would not be conveying the intention of the message. To correct a sentence with double negative words, we may remove one of the negative words from the sentence, or we may replace one of the negative words with a positive word. For example, they don't know nothing. This sentence contains two negative words, don't and nothing. Saying that they do not know nothing really means that they know something, because each of these negatives cancel the other. Therefore, this sentence does not convey the true meaning of what was intended. By eliminating one of the negative words, the true meaning of the sentence will be given. We may eliminate don't and say they know nothing, or replace the negative word nothing with the positive word anything and say they don't know anything. Here are some of the most commonly used negative words: no, not, none, no one, nothing, nowhere, neither, nobody. These may be replaced with positive words such as any, anything, some, something, ever, always. Let's look at some examples. He didn't say nothing. The two negative words in this sentence are didn't and nothing. We may remove didn't and say he said nothing, or we may replace nothing with anything and say he didn't say anything. Here's another example. It wasn't nothing. Wasn't and nothing are the two negative words in this sentence, and they cancel each other to give the meaning that it was something. So, to correct this sentence, we replace wasn't with was and say it was nothing, or we replace nothing with anything and say it wasn't anything. There are some words that don't appear to be negative, but they are indeed negative. Words such as scarcely, hardly, never, neither, and but. These words should never be used with the word not. Here are some examples. I couldn't hardly walk. Couldn't and hardly are the two negative words in this sentence. To correct this sentence, we replace the negative word couldn't with the positive word could, and our sentence becomes I could hardly walk. Here's another example. We can't scarcely see you. Can't and scarcely are two negatives. So to correct this, we replace the negative can't with the positive can, and our sentence becomes we can scarcely see you. Let's look at some more examples. It couldn't never happen here. Couldn't and never are the two negative words in this sentence. We remove the negative couldn't and replace it with the positive could and say it could never happen here. It wasn't neither of the boys. Wasn't and neither are the two negative words in this sentence. We replace wasn't with was, and our sentence is, it was neither of the boys. However, there are many times when a double negative is used intentionally to convey a certain meaning. Let's look at this example. Mary doesn't understand all but one of the questions. The two negatives in this sentence are doesn't and but. The meaning we are getting from this sentence is that Mary understands only one of the questions. She didn't understand all, except for one. If we correct this sentence by removing one of the negative words, doesn't, our sentence would be, Mary understands all but one of the questions. This gives a different meaning to our sentence. We are now saying that Mary understands all of the questions except for one. So which meaning do we intend to convey? If it is the first sentence, Mary doesn't understand all but one of the questions, a better way of writing that sentence would be, Mary understands only one of the questions. So you see, we have to be careful with double negatives so that we are conveying the correct intentions. Let us do a little quiz to test your understanding of this lesson. There are 10 questions in this quiz. You must identify the double negatives and make the necessary corrections. Here we go. Number 1. I ain't never been to that place before. Number 2. She doesn't need no help with her homework. Number 3. We can't find any solution to the problem. Number 4. I haven't seen no movie like this before. Number 5. We hardly never go to that restaurant anymore. Number 6. She didn't eat nothing for breakfast. Number 7. I can't find no keys in my bag. Number 8. They haven't done anything to deserve this. Number 9. He never but complains about his job. And number 10. Neither of them can't understand the new policy. Okay, let's do the corrections together. Number 1. I ain't never been to that place before. The double negatives in this sentence are ain't and never. We remove never, so our sentence becomes, I ain't been to that place before. We could also replace ain't with have and say, I have never been to that place before. Number 2, she doesn't need no help with her homework. Replace no with any. She doesn't need any help with her homework. Or we may remove doesn't and say, she needs no help with her homework. Number 3, we can't find any solution to the problem. This is correct, but we could also say, we find no solution to the problem. Number 4, I haven't seen no movie like this before. Haven't and no are the double negatives. We replace no with any and say, I haven't seen any movie like this before. Or we could replace haven't with have and say, I have seen no movie like this before. Number 5. We hardly never go to that restaurant anymore. Hardly and never are the double negatives. We remove never and say we hardly go to that restaurant anymore. Number 6. She didn't eat nothing for breakfast. Didn't and nothing are the double negatives. We replace nothing with anything and say she didn't eat anything for breakfast. We could also remove didn't and say she ate nothing for breakfast. Number 7. I can't find no keys in my bag. The double negatives are can't and no. Replace no with any and say I can't find any keys in my bag. Or we could remove can't and say I find no keys in my bag. Number 8. They haven't done anything to deserve this. Well, this sentence is correct. However, we could also say they have done nothing to deserve this. Number 9. He never but complains about his job. The double negatives are never and but. We remove but and say he never complains about his job. And number 10. Neither of them can't understand the new policy. Neither and can't are the double negatives. We remove can't and say neither of them understands the new policy. I am sure you got all 10 correct. Please let me know in the comments section. And please review the answer given for number 9 and let me hear your thoughts in the comments section. It was my pleasure bringing this lesson to you. For easy grammar lessons, please subscribe to Know Your English Grammar and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my next lesson. Please check out my other videos and see you next time. Bye bye.